Champion P6 on lap 2.
And he'll be delighted to find out that it's one of his good friends, Frankie Morbidelli, who leads. So this is what it looks like. We're about to ride straight into the rear of Marc Marquez's bike. There's the contact, and there you can see one of the, on the right-hand side as you look, one of those two little fins on the right-hand side. As we look at Marc Marquez's Ducati, flies off.
Finding his way through on Alex Rins. Morbidelli it is, though. They've still got quite a comfortable buffer at the front of this Grand Prix as Johan Zarco ascends it on the inside of Fabio Quartararo in that battle between the two Frenchmen. Zarco
He's gone past his fellow Frenchman Quartararo, who's now got Aldeguer for company.
Different class again, isn't he, Zarco? Aldeguer, that's a dive bomb on the inside of Quartararo. He picks up the 2021 MotoGP World Champion. Aldeguer believes...
When he spoke on the grid, once again in that second sector, Marc Marquez losing 3/10 to Morbidelli as Gian Antonio now takes Alex Marquez. So both Marquez brothers having tricky starts to this race, largely because of running into each other. It's now a VR46, 1 and 3, and Morbidelli's lead is now over 1 second.
There's more contact, huge contact. There's bodywork there lost for Alex Marquez. Well, he's already tangled with Marc Marquez in this Grand Prix. Fabio the Gian Antonio coming up by far the worst of that big contact. The Gian Antonio had just muscled his way through into the top 3. 2 VR40 Rossi on site here in Qatar. Just caught the back end of that. We're going to try and see a replay to see exactly what happened. Was that Marquez? What is not for any doubt is Alex Marquez plunges back to 8th place, and the Gian Antonio, having been 3rd, is now 21st on the road.
And Pecco Bagnaia is already into the podium places and 1 place behind his teammate Marc Marquez. It might all be coming up 63 now, as it did in Austin a couple of weeks ago. Pecco Bagnaia could not have dreamt of a better first few laps than this.
We're on board then with the Gian Antonio. Into turn 12 we go, and slamming into the side of Digia goes Alex Marquez. Quite rightly, the FIA MotoGP stewards are looking at that one. Alex Marquez puts his hand up. I think Fabio, he put his hand up straight away to the Gian Antonio. So the streak of second places surely coming to an end for the 73. Irresponsible riding. He's got a trip through the long lap penalty loop coming his way.
Balance of power about to shift here between the two factory Ducatis. Pecco Bagnaia breezes through on his teammate Marc Marquez up into second place, and Pecco Bagnaia will not be able to believe his eyes the way this Grand Prix is going on. We're on lap 5. He's ahead of Marc Marquez into second place, and he's only got Frankie Morbidelli up the road.
How much is that damaged rear aero impacting Marc Marquez's early challenge here in this Grand Prix of Qatar, or is he just content to try and conserve some tyre life? He said himself, I don't think anybody saw this scenario emerging. Pecco Bagnaia easing his way through on Marc Marquez on this 5th lap of 22. This was the Gian Antonio. Now that was as clean as a whistle, wasn't it, that move on the inside of Alex Marquez going through turn 10. And then there was the massive contact. This is the replay. This was at the first corner of the Grand Prix. A real frantic start for the Marquez brothers. The big contact on the rear of Marc Marquez. And there is the damaged rear aero flapping around there as he gets the power down. Bagnaia once again, he's got great pace right now. Pecco Bagnaia, is he taking...
He's already been around turn 6 once. He's allowed 1 more, but he chooses to come through the long lap penalty now. And look at all of those points that are going to disappear on his left.
He jammed on the front brake there hard, then he going into that long lap penalty loop. It'll be dusty and dirty there as he swept into it. He dives back on the inside of Brad Binder. Of course, all this friendly fire, all the dice in between the Ducatis. Sprint, over at the line we go. Morbidelli's advantage is down to just under 8/10 of a second. Vinales, who we just mentioned, a 2-time MotoGP winner here in Qatar. Side by side go the factory Ducatis, red on red. Now Bagnaia is trying to seize the inside line. He runs on the inside curve. Such a tight line there for Bagnaia as Marquez into the top 3 for the first time this season so far. And Pecco Bagnaia, having been up into second place just a couple of laps ago, now back in 4th.
He's not having that though. He wants to come straight back through, although Maverick Vinales, who's been struggling early on and under braking on this KTM, nothing wrong with him there, was there? As he outbraked Bagnaia into turn number 1. So Bagnaia, a lap to go, was second. He's now 4th with the rider.
Marc now then closing, visibly closing in that braking zone for the final corner. Hard on the front end on that factory Ducati into the 3rd gear final turn. Here comes Vinales as well though, trying to use all of that.